Andoni Iraola backs Liverpool backroom staff to improve set pieces, but can that fix Liverpool's structural weakness? Can trusted coaches change Liverpool's next phase? Cristian Volpato faces an unconfirmed roadside test allegation, Norway may challenge FIFA, and the summer market needs sharper filters. This is Tablo Sports, and we start with Liverpool's set pieces. The first story matters because Liverpool aren't adding a decorative name to the staff list. They're targeting a repeat weakness, and that tells us where Andoni Iraola thinks the next improvement has to come from. Andoni Iraola backs Liverpool backroom staff to improve set pieces. The easy headline is about two familiar coaches following a manager, but the serious point is Liverpool's set piece structure. Specialist staff can sharpen delivery, blocking, marking, and second ball reactions, yet they can't hide poor concentration or bad squad balance. Iraola gets trusted people around him, while Liverpool supporters get a direct response to a problem they've seen too often. Andoni Iraola has brought Tommy Elphick and Shaun into his Liverpool backroom team as first-team coaches. Both joined from Iraola's Bournemouth staff, and Iraola has said trusted members of his coaching team matter to him. That sounds simple, but it carries real tactical weight. Liverpool's next phase won't be judged by how neat the staff photo looks. It'll be judged by whether corners and free kicks stop turning into emergency defending. Set pieces are where tiny details become very expensive. One late runner, one missed screen, one poor starting position, suddenly a team that controlled the match is chasing the ball out of its net. Specialist coaching can give Liverpool clearer assignments and more rehearsed attacking patterns, especially when opponents turn every dead ball into a wrestling contest with a referee nearby. The coaches can improve the plan, they can't perform the duel for the player. That distinction matters because supporters are already asking whether specialist coaching can cure Liverpool's recurring set-piece issues. Cure is a strong word. Liverpool haven't posted improved numbers under this group yet, and this isn't a player signing, it's a structural decision. Iraola's argument is that the people who helped build his methods at Bournemouth should help rebuild the details at Liverpool. The proof arrives in competitive matches, when fatigue strips away training ground neatness and defenders have half a second to choose correctly. There's also a squad question underneath. If Liverpool lack height, timing, or aggression in key zones, coaching can only stretch the material so far. Still, this is a sensible appointment because it targets a defined weakness instead of waving another vague slogan over the stadium. Liverpool has named the problem. Now the staff has to make conceding from a corner feel embarrassing again rather than routine. Liverpool's story is about process and proof on the pitch. The Cristian Volpato report demands the same discipline with facts because an allegation isn't a verdict and social media rarely waits for the paperwork. Cristian Volpato allegedly tests positive for cocaine during Sydney roadside test. The sensational headline is doing most of the shouting, while the confirmed position is narrower and more serious. Volpato allegedly returned a positive result, but a secondary sample was taken and police inquiries are continuing. The sporting consequences could become important, yet no criminal charge or conviction has been reported. Cristian Volpato allegedly returned a positive cocaine result during a roadside test after police stopped him in Sydney. Reports say he was allegedly driving at 109 km per hour in a 60 zone and was stopped twice for speeding. His international driving license was reportedly suspended in New South Wales for 6 months. But keep the language precise. A secondary sample was taken, police inquiries are continuing, and Volpato hasn't been charged with a criminal offense. That means the allegation could lead to disciplinary or availability consequences, but those consequences aren't established yet. The player, police, and relevant football authorities still have a process to complete. The internet, naturally, has already completed 3. The Volpato case is still waiting for due process. Norway's dispute with FIFA raises a different question. Can football's disciplinary process explain itself when a controversial suspension suddenly disappears? Norway considers FIFA ethics complaint over Balogun red card saga. Norway hasn't filed the complaint yet, so presenting this as a formal FIFA case would be wrong. The real issue is the process that cleared Follier Balogun from a mandatory World Cup ban. If a federation believes outside influence shaped the outcome, the damage reaches beyond one red card and into trust and governance. Norway's Football Federation Board is expected to consider filing a FIFA ethics complaint over the process that overturned Follier Balogun's red card suspension. The meeting is likely to take place on 6 August, which means the complaint remains a possibility, not an official submission. Norwegian Federation President Lise Klaveness has criticized what she described as external influence on the process. That's the pressure point. Fans can accept a difficult ruling more easily when the reasoning is clear and consistent. They struggle when one player seems to escape a mandatory World Cup ban and nobody can explain why the standards changed. This isn't a final disciplinary verdict, and FIFA hasn't been found guilty of misconduct on the evidence supplied. Still, Norway's next step could turn a refereeing controversy into a governance test. The red card is old news, the paper trail is the problem. That governance argument shows how quickly a tournament can remain in the headlines after the final whistle. Now the football calendar is trying to move on, even if supporters haven't quite finished arguing. Weekend Football Guide looks beyond the 2026 World Cup. This is a viewing guide, not breaking transfer news. Its useful role is helping fans shift from World Cup conversation back toward domestic football and the summer window. The transfer connection is only a bridge. No specific club move is verified in the supplied evidence. The supplied Guardian item is a weekend football guide following the completed 2026 World Cup. The available evidence doesn't confirm a transfer, a bid, or a particular club transaction, so this shouldn't be dressed up as market news. What it does capture is the awkward reset after a major tournament. International football fills the calendar with national stories, dramatic exits, and arguments about decisions. Then, almost immediately, supporters are expected to care about a club's new left back and whether a friendly was played behind closed doors. Football has no emotional handbrake. For transfer watchers, the sensible takeaway is modest. Use the weekend to move from tournament narrative to verified domestic developments. Don't turn a general guide into evidence for a deal that isn't there. If the weekend guide is the calendar moving forward, David Squire's cartoon is the tournament looking back and asking which moments still deserve a second glance. David Squires revisits notable people and moments from World Cup 2026. This is a retrospective feature, not a live squad or transfer update. Its value is cultural rather than transactional. It revisits the people, controversies, and moments that shaped the World Cup conversation. A cartoon can capture football's absurdity, but it can't confirm current availability or a club move. David Squires' Guardian cartoon revisits notable people and big moments from the completed 2026 World Cup. The piece looks back at the tournament's major stories and headline-generating characters, with supporters revisiting the controversies and performances that dominated the competition. There's no new match report here, and no transfer development hiding behind the artwork. That's fine. Football coverage doesn't have to pretend every item changes a squad. Sometimes the point is simply recognizing that the tournament produced enough drama to fill a cartoon before the transfer window had finished making promises. The World Cup retrospective is football culture. This next story is about safeguarding, and it needs a completely different tone. Careful, factual, and focused on the young people involved. Austin FC Academy players investigated over alleged youth-on-youth sexual abuse. The central issue is protection and accountability, not scandal-driven speculation. Austin police and the FBI are investigating allegations involving juveniles within the Austin FC Academy system. No charges or findings have been announced, so names and conclusions must stay out of the story. Multiple Austin FC Academy players are under investigation by Austin police and the FBI over allegations of sexual abuse within the club's youth system. Austin police confirmed an ongoing investigation involving juveniles, while Austin FC and Major League Soccer sources confirmed the existence of the inquiries. Austin FC says allegations reported by Academy families were referred to law enforcement and that it took immediate action. That response now has to be measured by protection, cooperation, and transparency rather than public relations language. The supplied evidence doesn't announce charges or findings, and alleged perpetrators shouldn't be identified without verified official reporting. For young players and their families, the consequence is immediate, even while the legal process continues. A football academy is trusted with more than development plans. It's trusted with children. The Austin FC investigation shows why institutions must separate action from conclusion. That same distinction matters in the IOC's decision involving FIFA President Gianni Infantino. IOC says complaint against Gianni Infantino is outside its scope. The IOC declined to investigate on jurisdictional grounds, which isn't an exoneration. The decision says the complaint falls outside the organization's scope. It doesn't decide whether the underlying allegations have merit. Fans are right to ask who can examine football governance when each body points toward another rulebook. The International Olympic Committee says it won't investigate a complaint concerning FIFA President Gianni Infantino because the matter falls outside its scope. That's a jurisdictional decision, not a finding on the substance of the allegations. The complaint concerned Infantino, and the IOC has declined to examine it. No claim that FIFA misconduct was established should be made from this evidence, just as nobody should describe the IOC's position as a clearance on the merits. The distinction sounds technical until accountability depends on it. The governance question remains uncomfortable if a sports body has no jurisdiction. Where does a credible review happen? Fans aren't asking for theater. They're asking for a process with a clear door and somebody willing to open it. The transfer noise is coming later, but first, football's governance problems are getting harder to ignore. After ethics complaints and jurisdictional boundaries, a mystery that won't require lawyers is welcome. The BBC's 5th Premier League quiz player is a guessing game, and the evidence doesn't reveal the answer. BBC asked readers to identify Premier League star No-Fi. This is engagement content, not a player update. The feature invites supporters to identify a mystery Premier League player, but the supplied material doesn't identify the player or club. Guessing is part of the format. Reporting a guess as transfer information would be something else entirely. BBC Sports' interactive feature asks readers to identify Premier League star number 5. The supplied evidence confirms the format but doesn't reveal the player's identity or club, so we won't invent one to make the segment sound clever. That boundary matters during a busy window. A quiz can generate debate, nostalgia, and a few wildly confident wrong answers. It can't confirm a transfer, a contract, or even a current squad status. Enjoy the puzzle, just don't build a rumor around it. And now we reach the transfer window itself, where a headline can look packed while the evidence is practically on a diet. Premier League Summer Transfer Roundup contains no individually verified deal in the supplied evidence. The roundup is transfer-focused, but its supplied extract doesn't establish a specific player, club move, fee, or verified bid. General window coverage can show market activity without proving every rumor circulating around it. The useful editorial move is restraint. No unnamed target becomes a confirmed signing on our watch. The supplied New York Times source metadata presents general Premier League summer transfer coverage, but the available page extract doesn't identify a specific completed transfer or verified bid. Any individual claim needs separate corroboration before it reaches the headline. Supporters are reacting to the sheer volume of summer window rumors, and clubs know exactly how that works. A vague report creates a name, the name creates a graphic, and the graphic starts behaving like evidence. It isn't. Without a player, a club, and a verified transaction or bid, this remains market noise rather than a deal. That may sound less exciting, but it protects the one thing transfer coverage still has: credibility. The confirmed tracker coming next gives us something firmer to work with. The contrast is now clear. One roundup supplies atmosphere without an individually verified deal. ESPN's tracker is built around confirmed arrivals and departures, even though the supplied evidence doesn't give us every name or fee. ESPN's Premier League Summer Transfer Tracker lists confirmed 2026 deals. A confirmed transfer tracker is more useful than a rumor pile because it separates completed business from window chatter. ESPN's list covers incoming and outgoing Premier League moves across the 2026 summer window, but it doesn't give us permission to invent individual details. The market's real story is squad churn. Clubs are changing shape before supporters know whether the new pieces actually fit. ESPN has compiled a tracker of reported confirmed arrivals and departures involving Premier League clubs during the 2026 summer window. The tracker covers incoming and outgoing activity across the league, giving supporters a reference point for comparing squad movement before the season begins. But confirmed doesn't mean every detail is available in the supplied evidence. We can't attach undisclosed fees, name a deal the extract doesn't identify, or turn a rumor into a completed transfer. The tracker is a useful source, not a blank check for dramatic graphics. What does it tell us? The market should be judged by actual squad change rather than daily speculation. A club can dominate the rumor cycle and barely alter its team. Another can quietly complete the moves that change its depth, balance, and tactical options. That's the difference between activity and construction. And that brings us back to the lead. Andoni Iraola backs Liverpool backroom staff to improve set pieces, and the real test now is whether Liverpool's new coaching structure can turn that promise into better defensive and attacking set piece work next season. Staff appointments and confirmed transfers belong in the same conversation only when they solve a visible football problem. Otherwise, they're window dressing with a press release attached. That's the window in its proper shape. One clear tactical intervention, several stories requiring due process, and plenty of transfer noise that still needs names and proof. Liverpool have identified a set-piece weakness, while the Premier League market is slowly separating completed business from attractive fiction. Keep the headline, check the evidence, and don't let a rumor do a signing's job.